unlike like last video, because I felt like the last video of me is ranting about Star Wars was nah. I actually made a list of what I would say, so I won't really like forget what I was going to say, like unlike the last video. Anyways, that's not important. So this video, and I know I said this in the past two videos, Luke Skywalker, or more like the death of him in The Last Jedi. He is my favorite Jedi in general. I don't care if Rey still happens to be a badass in episode 9 or whatever. Because let's face it, she is a Jedi. Or soon to be Jedi. Whatever. Luke Skywalker is my favorite Jedi in general. And I know a lot of fans, rightfully so, are complaining about how they feel like Rian Johnson messed up Luke Skywalker in The Last Jedi because they feel like he is too grumpy, uh, too negative or whatever. And as fan to Luke Skywalker, I actually get what those people are saying, but at the same time, I actually didn't mind the grumpy old Luke Skywalker because he is. There's still one more Star Wars movie where, yeah, Luke could have was a grumpy old man for most of this movie, up until like when Yoda was saying, "Yeah, you made a mistake with Ben Solo, but the galaxy needs you. Rey needs you. Your sister needs you. Everybody else needs you to help them beat the First Order." And I feel like after Yoda had that talk with Luke, that's when he was obviously a more matured version of the Luke that we've met in the original trilogy. And it would have been nice to see that, like, see the Luke that we saw in the original trilogy that's full of hope and is a hero and blah 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 in episode 9. It really would have. And the only problem I had with the direction that Rian Johnson decided to take Luke Skywalker in was killing Luke Skywalker. Now I've heard like multiple like rumors that, oh, I want to get out of the old, like I want to take out the old, get in the new. Which if that's the case, that's stupid. Only because without the old, there would be the new, and in this case, killing off old character. I'm not calling Luke Skywalker old, but yeah, I mean like old as in we already seen before this new trilogy. Just getting rid of an old character just to make room for a new character is kind of stupid. I mean, Han Solo's death, which I'm going to get to the Solo movie in a bit, but Han Solo's death in The Force Awakens, I actually didn't mind because in my head, I've read the novel as well, but in my head I was thinking, okay, yeah, Han was trying to convert his son back to the light side. He was trying to get his son back, but he also probably figured that whatever happens will give his son, I don't know, in some weird way will bring his son back to the light side eventually. And if Kylo Ren killed Han Solo in doing so, I don't know what was exactly going on through Han Solo's mind. Maybe it's just me trying to justify it, but let's be reals. I don't mind Han Solo's death in The Force Awakens. And even to this day, every single time I see this scene, like whenever I see Kylo Ren sticking the lightsaber into Han Solo, I go like, "What?" And I've seen the movie like 3 times in theaters. 3 times. I'm not joking. And I just feel my point is for bring kind of like comparing Han Solo's set to Luke. It made more sense with Han. Plus, two, I've heard the other reason why they decided to kill off Luke Skywalker. And keep in mind, I'm not sure if this is true or not. I'm just going based on what I've heard. It's because they felt like Luke Skywalker was going to like take up too much in each scene that he was in. Because in the original script for Episode 8, the person who was writing The Last Jedi was kind of having trouble adjusting Luke in the movie. Because they felt like he took up too much attention in the scene. Well, I gotta say, obviously, Luke's going to take up most of the attention in one scene, because first, he's a beloved character. He's one of the most famous characters in the Star Wars history. Barely, I feel like barely, and if I'm wrong, I'll be a man and say, okay, I'm wrong, but in my eyes, barely anyone dislikes Luke. Maybe they dislike him in Empire Strikes Back, A New Hope, because some fans feel like he was too whiny. But in Luke's defense, it's called character development, pretty much. And I'm still pretty upset by the words that Kathleen Kennedy said that, oh, females cannot relate to Luke Skywalker. And Jesse Milestone on that, on Mindless Entertainment, and Anna from That Star Wars Chick, both pretty much responded to that ridiculous statement, pretty much saying that they were both offended by that statement, and they're both girls, because they could both, relate to Luke Skywalker, which I believe I mentioned that in my last video too. But and then, but that's really all I have to say negatively of how Ryan Johnson decided to take Luke Skywalker. Said he killed Luke Skywalker off. I even heard that he asked Kathleen Kennedy if that was a good idea to kill Luke Skywalker off. I mean, yeah, there are a lot of plot holes in The Last Jedi, and it's kind of sad that they have to go to like books or a lot of books or video games. A lot more than I feel like they did have to go with like Attack of the Clones, which is my least favorite Star Wars movie. Just to explain some of the things in The Last Jedi. I hope that makes sense. And then Kathleen Kennedy, Ryan Johnson, and J.J. Abrams ain't helping any. Are trying to portray The Last Jedi as, oh, this perfect movie, and anybody who dislikes The Last Jedi is sexist. Doesn't know a good movie when they see one. Even though I kind of like added the last part to which honestly, pretty much what I'm saying is that J.J. Abrams, Ryan Johnson, Kathleen Kennedy are trying to portray The Last Jedi as the perfect movie. J.J. Abrams even attacked some of us fans saying, "Oh, if you don't like The Last Jedi, then you're sexist." It was like, what the hell? I mean, for a few months, I was on this Star Wars high, you know? I was saying, oh yeah, I love the Star Wars movie, The Last Jedi, I mean. And even when I was on the Star Wars high, except on my first time going, because I was more of on a Star Wars high than now. Or my other 2 times I've seen it in theaters. I, even back when I was posting saying, oh yeah, like when I was claiming that I liked it even more than I do now. Even then, I even saw that there has been few errors as I feel that I would have fixed in the movie. And those people who are saying that, oh, those people who are just talking trash about The Last Jedi, who's saying it's not the perfect movie or it's not a good movie, it's dumb. And to those people, I have to say, you're, and I'm not trying to be mean here, but you're kind of acting stupid. Because, let's say this. Let's say Wonder Woman. There we go. Because I feel like Wonder Woman is the best DCEU movie. If some people disliked that movie, which I'm pretty sure some people did, I'm not going to say, oh, those people must be sexist because the main lead of that movie is a female. Where she came from was all females, and they are probably intimidated by females. No, I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to call you guys dumb if you dislike or like a movie that I may or may not like. Like, I really don't like The Last Airbender or that Dragon Ball Z movie, the live action one, I mean, for both. Now, some people may like those two movies, but I personally do not. But I'm not going to call you guys idiots for liking the Last Airbender movie and the Dragon Ball Z movie, which I believe are trash, and that they should have been made, or they should have had different directors make that movie. Anyways, so by J.J. Abrams, Kathleen Kennedy, and Ryan Johnson pretty much attacking the fans that don't like The Last Jedi is stupid. It's really stupid, and to be honest, it's kind of immature, in my opinion. Now, the prequels, there's a lot of things I will have changed about the prequels too, like not Luke, Anakin and Padme's romance, like the approach of how George Lucas done it. I would have changed that because that was a bit weird for me. That was plus when Anakin and Padme was on Naboo, Anakin's assignment was to protect Padme, right? I would have created like a sense of danger a bit. Had one scene where there was some sort of trouble where Padme was needed Anakin's help. And the only time where I feel like Padme was really in danger was back on Coruscant or Naboo. No, Coruscant. And Sam Weasel, that shape-shifting alien bounty hunter, tried to get that worm into her room, and Anakin saved Padme just in time. But that wasn't on Naboo though. That was on Coruscant, and Anakin had Obi-Wan there. But that would be one of the things I would have changed in Attack of the Clones. Plus, I would have changed the title too, because each Star Wars movie, like the title after the number, tells you a little something about that movie. It gives you like a little hint, and up until that movie comes out, you can kind of like speculate on what that title means. Like Attack of Phantom Menace refers to Darth Sidious. The Clone Wars movie talks about Anakin's and Obi-Wan's and the Jedi Order's adventures in the Clone Wars. Revenge of the Sith. Darth Sidious' revenge on the Jedi, pretty much. New Hope. Luke Skywalker being the New Hope. Empire Strikes Back. The Empire is striking back after the rebellion. More like Luke Skywalker blew up the Death Star. Return of the Jedi. Well, Luke pretty much preserving the Jedi Order. The Force Awakens. I guess the Force has to do with Rey unlocking her OP power. Rogue One, a Star Wars story. It's about this little crew that ended up calling themselves Rogue One. The Last Jedi talks about Rey and Luke. Attack of the Clones only had the clones attacking one scene. It doesn't fit the entire theme. If that makes sense. But see, unlike Ryan Johnson, Kathleen Kennedy, and J.J. Abrams, at least George Lucas had the balls to admit, even with the problem, even with some of the things that might have made fans angry or whatnot, that fans might say, "Oh yeah, you could have done this better in the original trilogy." At least George Lucas admits, yeah, the first six Star Wars movies ain't the perfect movies, and I could have done a better job at making those movies. But I don't hear George Lucas saying that the I'm just for a second forgetting he made any other movies outside of Star Wars. He's not. But if you want to bring those movies in too, I don't hear George Lucas saying, "Oh yeah, this is a perfect movie. If you dislike this movie, then you're a fucking idiot." I don't hear George Lucas saying that. I'm pretty much hearing Kathleen Kennedy, J.J. Abrams, and Ryan Johnson saying that. And at least George Lucas listen to the fans. Like with how Jar Jar Binks, episode 1. I feel at least in my experience, I've heard more complaints about Jar Jar Binks than any other character. And I feel like George Lucas kind of heard those complaints and put less Jar Jar in Attack of the Clones. And then later, even less Jar Jar in Revenge of the Sith, which we always see Jar Jar in like three very small parts in Revenge of the Sith, and the only thing he says was "excuse me" after Anakin, Obi-Wan, Darth Sidious, and R2-D2 land on did that crash landing on Coruscant. But my point is, I feel, and that's just one example that I feel like George Lucas listened to the fans that he saw people were criticizing Jar Jar Binks and how annoying he was. He used less Jar Jar in episode 2, Attack of the Clones. Then he used a lot less Jar Jar Binks in Revenge of the Sith. And that's why I admire George Lucas so much. Other than the fact that he made my favorite movie of all time, is that he also kind of like listened to the fans a bit. And he's also not saying, yeah, my movies aren't perfect movies. They might be, I made some good movies, made some imp movies, but I never made perfect movies. And once, and I hate to use this term, but once Kathleen Kennedy, Ryan Johnson, J.J. Abrams, but mainly Kathleen Kennedy, gets their butt out there, their heads out of their asses, then they will see, okay, we should say that we should stop saying that The Last Jedi is the perfect movie. We should stop saying that people are intimidated by female power if they don't like the Last Jedi. And we should stop putting politics in the Star Wars universe. I mean, wait, pause. I mean, I don't mind politics really, but I don't want it to be in Star Wars really. I mean, granted that the prequels were more political than the original trilogy, but and granted that even though even though Attack of the Clones is my least favorite Star Wars movie, so in my opinion, The Phantom Menace is the most boring Star Wars movie because it was dealing so much with politics. Like I feel like of all the Star Wars movies, I feel like The Phantom Menace dealt with more politics than any other Star Wars movie, and I feel like that's why The Phantom Menace is the most boring movie for me. Not the worst in my opinion, not my least favorite, just the most boring. But yeah. I have to agree with a lot of fans. Well, every friend that says this, we don't want politics in this new trilogy, especially since we already got politics in the Star Wars universe in the prequels. So if we can, let's save the politics for any other movie besides uh Star Wars, shall we? And two, uh and I kind of brushed up on this in the last video, and I pretty sure I did this brushed up on this too in my first Star Wars Rant video. But I know some people are saying this too. Kathleen Kennedy is not really listening to the fans that much. That she's more interested in what she wants to see than the fans. Because, like, take the Solo Star Wars story for example. Some people are boycotting the Solo Star Wars story because they had enough of Kathleen Kennedy not listening to us fans. And I get some fans may have wanted a Han Solo movie. I'm not one of those fans. I never wanted to see a Han Solo movie not because Han Solo's an awesome character, because he is. Han Solo is one of my favorite characters in general. But I don't want to see his backstory at all. Because, some characters, like backstory, it'd be cooler, nicer to have like a mystery surrounding their backstory, saying, oh, so so us fans can theorize for ourselves. Okay, this must be what happened. This is how they are the way they this is why they are who they are. Granted that in the original trilogy, they had brushed up on Han Solo's backstory a bit, but only a little bit, enough where it will make us fans like fantasize or theorize, whatever the proper term in here. See, okay, this is what happened to Han Solo, and this is what happened to Han Solo, and this is how Han Solo met Lando, and this is how he lost the Millennium Falcon. This is how he got Chewie, and this is how Chewbacca got the life debt to Han Solo. Blurry, blurry, blur. Or maybe they could even explain Han Solo's origins in a freaking book. They could have saved all that money to making a Han Solo movie and to make it a book. A freaking book. I have a feeling a lot more fans would be okay with that. Some, would still be like, damn you, Lucasfilms, making Han Solo's origins, but in a book form? But hey, I feel like that would have been better than seeing a movie. Granted that since I am pretty much bashing Star Wars right now, but Star Wars is more than just a movie to me. It's in a sense my home away from home. Now, I did say the Attack of the Clones is my least favorite Star Wars movie, but I will still watch it. Don't get me wrong, I will still watch it. And part of the reason why I will still watch it is because I know George Lucas won't pull a Rian Johnson and Kathleen Kennedy and J.J. Abrams saying, "Oh, The Last Jedi is a perfect movie, blah, blah, blah." He won't say, "Oh, The Attack of the Clones is a perfect movie. If you don't like The Attack of the Clones, you are stupid." But no, unlike those three, George Lucas has enough. George Lucas has enough maturity where he will say, "Yeah, not all my movies may be good." Oh, never mind. But uh, but it's a business, really. You making any movie that you are planning to turn into a franchise, like how George Lucas did by making the original trilogy first, the prequels, and now the upcoming now the Star Wars future, unless if she gets fired, is up to Kathleen Kennedy. She needs to listen to more of the fans, because without that us fans, I very doubt that there would have even been Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, Empire's Revenge of the Sith, or there wouldn't be two versions of the Clone Wars series, or the Rebels show that we got, or we wouldn't have even gotten the Resistance show, and without or pretty much the chances of us being able to see Star Wars Episode 7 through 9, and then any other Star Wars movie. Who's texting me? Sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. My phone. I'm sorry. My phone froze. But without us fans, really, I mean, obviously George Lucas created Star Wars, but without us fans, Star Wars wouldn't be as big as it was. Now, granted that I might have been wrong about no prequels, because there still might have been a chance of us getting prequels, but without us fans, it wouldn't really have inspired George Lucas to sell Lucasfilms to Disney, where they are able to make new Star Wars movies, and I'm still waiting for the newest Indiana Jones movie, even though I need to start watching the older ones because I've only seen the one with Shia LaBeouf in it. But my point being is that since we're talking about Star Wars, let's use Star Wars. Star Wars is in a sense a business. Us fans are their customers, and if they continue to give us movies that we don't want, or keep on saying that we're dumb or sexist because we don't like a certain Star Wars movie, then that's just bad for business, and they'll lose customers, they'll lose fans, and eventually Lucasfilms will be so down in a pit, and like with LucasArts, will be just a simple memory. And we all because Kathleen Kennedy refuses to listen to us fans. It's okay to try to bring in new fans, but also keep in mind about the old fans, the old fans who pretty much in a sense made Star Wars as big as it is today. Shoot, even Disney at Walt Disney and Disneyland, both are gonna have Star Wars theme parks, and they even had before Star Wars was Disney. They even had this thing called Star Wars Weekend at Disney that I went to, and I was able to meet Daniel Logan, who was Boba Fett in Episode 2 Attack of the Clones, and because they didn't let us get meet multiple people a day, so I met Daniel Logan, and I even convinced my mom to let me. I even convinced my mom to go in line of James Arnold Taylor, so he can get an autograph from James Arnold Taylor for me, and it literally says on which I'll probably show you guys in a future Star Wars rant video because I don't feel like going in my room, coming downstairs, having you guys wait. It says on the picture of him, he says Philippe, and I actually spell my name right because a lot of people kind of like misspell my name, but he actually spell my name right. But he said Philippe, and I gave all the abbreviation of "May the Force be with you." And James Arnold Taylor is my favorite voice actor, and I want to be a professional actor. I messaged him on Facebook, on his Facebook page, saying, "Got any tips of me of inspiring actors?" Because I just left it at that. Because I'm quite open minded. I don't know if I want to go into voice acting, but I do want to go in acting. So James Arnold Taylor literally said, "Yes, here you go, Philippe. I'll send you some links saying this is my best." Pretty much saying this is my advice of how you could get started. One of them were kind of like bad. Like I had that like those three circles. That green means the site is good. Yellow means the site is iffy. The red means the site most likely has a virus. One of those, because he sent me like four. One of those had like the red circle, so I figured, okay, I'm not going to let my computer get virus, so I didn't click on that. But every other one I clicked on. Granted, I don't remember because it's been like this was back in 2012, and like a few months after I came back from Florida to where I live, that's when Lucasfilms got bought out by Disney. Or just George Lucas sold Disney out, Lucasfilms to Disney. But my point being, guess I kind of sidetracked a bit. Star Wars wouldn't be as big as it is today without the fans that grew up with the original trilogy, that watched the prequels. Damn, even the Clone Wars movie and both Clone Wars series. And unless unless Kathleen Kennedy first will stop trying to promote, like, allow her female power to override everything, because I'm all for female power, but not to override everything. Two, stop saying The Last Jedi is a perfect movie when it's not, because there are some problems. It's okay if she says, and J.J. Abrams and Ryan Johnson too, I'm bringing you guys into here. It's okay if you guys said, "Oh yeah, The Last Jedi is a good movie." There still might be some heat, but not really as big of a heat. And which kind of goes to my third point of this point. Take some responsibility. If there is, just take some responsibility, really. Like, in terms of, yeah, The Last Jedi, it has its problems. We're going to take responsibility for that, play. And we could have done something different in The Last Jedi. Then it will please more fans to hear that. And pretty much my overall point is Kathleen Kennedy, just listen to us fans more. Otherwise, like, I get that you're trying to bring new fans, but remember, listen to us old fans. And maybe by listening to us old fans, you guys will be able to get new or people to like Star Wars so they can call themselves fans. Who knows? Who knows? And the people who are boycotting Solo Star Wars story, uh, I don't blame you. Mainly because of my point that I was trying to make before, which was Kathleen Kennedy refuses to listen to us fans. And for those of you who are trying to boycott Solo Star Wars story, good for you. And I don't mean that as sarcastic. I don't mean that as an insulting way. I just mean that as uh I understand where you're coming from, and I'm not gonna call you stupid. I'm not gonna judge you if you do not want to see Solo Star Wars movie. Because I totally get you. Even not Star Wars fans that aren't really into Star Wars. I might think that you're crazy for not being a fan of Star Wars, but I'm not going to criticize you guys for saying, "Oh, you never seen Star Wars? You're stupid." I might joke around a bit, saying, "You, you don't like Star Wars? You're crazy." But I, I won't like insult you, like saying you don't like Star Wars. You're crazy. There's a there's kind of like a pretty much. If I say, "Oh, you don't like Star Wars, you're crazy," I wouldn't say, "Hey," I wouldn't mean it. That was just me. That would be just me messing around with you, and I will respect people like decisions. I will respect people's views, if especially if they are different than mine. But hey, here's the thing. Let's talk about why we kind of like disagree with the other's views. I don't mind that. In fact, I implore that. I ask that we kind of go into a little debate, if you will, of why our views are different. Because having debates are never having debates are healthy. Having debates are healthy, and y- and you can see the other person's side. Well, I shouldn't say it's healthy because it's healthy to a certain extent. The only times where it's not healthy is when you are deciding to attack each other, saying, "Oh, you're a stupid feminist if you don't like The Last Jedi, and this is why." And yes, I know I kind of reference The Last Jedi a lot in here, but let's take, I'm going to get a lot of heat for this, but let's take Donald Trump, for example, and how he is doing as president. Some people might be pro-Trump. Some people might be anti-Trump. Some people will literally verbally attack each other just to try to make their point. But there are some, like me, if I ever get into a debate over how I feel Donald Trump is still in office, I will do it in a way where it's the most respectful way for me to explain my side of things. Now, I'm not going to tell you guys if I'm pro-Trump or anti-Trump because I just don't feel like getting like blasted. But but you get what I mean, right? I hope you do that. I get the reason why the people who are boycotting Solo Star Wars Story, which kind of could have used a better name, why they're doing it. Also, will respect the people's wishes. I will respect the people's decisions of who will go to see Solo Star Wars Story, because I have no right to say, "Oh, you're stupid for going to see this movie." I really have no right. I think you might be crazy, but I'm not gonna call you stupid. And I'll admit, I wish I can say I won't see Solo Star Wars Story. I really do. But Star Wars is my one kryptonite, and I feel like I said this already in this video, but Star Wars is my one kryptonite. So if I tell you I'm not going to see Star Wars movie, then I feel like that would be a false. In theaters, I feel like that would be a false lie. A false promise, because that would be a lie. Because the chances of me seeing a Star Wars movie in theaters is high. Granted that I have low expectations for the Han Solo movie, but I'm most likely going to see it. And I feel like I think I said this before, but I feel like some characters have past would have been more. It would be better if they're more secret-ish per se. Like with Han Solo, we got like a few sprinkles of okay, this would happen to Han in his life, but the characters pretty much just explain to like the characters explain to us as fans. Okay, if this is what happened in Han Solo's life, now we'll let you speculate. And I agree with my brother, and I said this in the last two Star Wars Rant videos. It would have made more sense to have a Lando Calrissian movie because Lando had less screen time than Han Solo. Do I want a Lando movie? I think it's debatably too late. Now, with a Han Solo movie, maybe not. I don't know. I haven't seen the movie yet, so I won't be able to tell. But it's possibly too late for a Lando movie. I want to see a Old Republic movie or trilogy. I want to see the Force Unleashed movie. Like the Force Unleashed was this video game where Darth Vader had a secret apprentice, and the secret apprentice helped Darth Vader hunt and kill the Jedi that survived Order 66, but later this apprentice, like I won't say betrayed, because Darth Vader does betray Starkiller being the apprentice by killing him, but then Darth Vader brings him back to life, and then pretty much towards the end of the game, Starkiller joins the rebels, and in rescuing, and at some point of the game, the rebels gets captured. Some of the rebels gets captured, brought to the Death Star, and in the moment of trying to give the rebels enough time to escape the Death Star, Starkiller ends up dying, and that is one of my favorite Star Wars games, regardless if it's Legends now or canon. That's one of the movies. That's one of the few things from the Legends where I say, yeah, bring that, but into movie form, please, or a TV show. I wouldn't mind a TV show either. Or maybe we could see Starkiller in a the Resistance show. Maybe kind of teasing that, yeah, I was Darth Vader's secret apprentice. I turned to the good side. People thought I was dead, but here I am. Kind of like twisting the Starkiller story a bit. I don't know. What else was I going to say? Anakin Skywalker. There we go. I've heard that there are rumors that Anakin was going to be in The Last Jedi. Like, there was a potential where Anakin Skywalker, Hayden Christensen, could have returned as Anakin Skywalker in The Last Jedi, but Ryan Johnson kind of threw out that idea and pretty much replaced Anakin with Yoda, which, to be honest, I'm actually okay with for The Last Jedi, only because, and this was like a few weeks ago where I've heard this, and I've been thinking, and I'm actually okay with Anakin not being in The Last Jedi because Yoda, because I felt like Yoda was more suited to the story than Anakin would have in The Last Jedi. So that's one of the things I'll actually come to Ryan Johnson's defense about. But in episode 9, I would like to see Hayden Christensen come back as Anakin Skywalker. I really would. Because Anakin would have the best chance of converting Kylo Ren back to the good side. I mean, because Yeah, Leia could debatably, outside of Anakin, be the best choice because we saw in The Last Jedi, Kylo Ren hesitated to kill his own mother, and he did it. Someone else decided to like blow up that command bay, and Leia, using the Force to gravitate herself to the ship, survived. But so I can see Leia having the best chance of converting Kylo Ren to the light side, but like assume that's saying if they don't use Anakin Skywalker. If they do bring back Anakin as a Force Ghost, which I'm hoping that they do, then then that would change things. Like what I just said, that would change things. Like Anakin would have the best chance of converting Kylo Ren back to the good side, because Darth Vader has been, I mean, Anakin has been where Kylo Ren has before. Anakin was conflicted at one point. He even turned to the dark side, and that was because he wanted to save his wife. You know, Anakin ended up killing his wife, nearly his two children. But yeah, Anakin was conflicted at one point in his life. He turned to the dark side of the Force. But here's the thing, Anakin turned back to the light side like a few moments before he died. And that was to save his own son. So if anybody in the entire Star Wars universe has the best chance of converting Kylo Ren back to the light side, is Anakin, in my opinion. And I truly believe not having Anakin in Episode 9 as a Force Ghost would be a huge mistake. Only for that reason, as I just said. And you know what? I didn't say this earlier, but it would be cool to see Luke Skywalker come back as Force Ghost. I mean, not like we have much of a choice since Rian Johnson decided to kill Luke off in The Last Jedi, and I still have like an issue with that. But I guess we can still see Luke returning in as the hopeful guy as we saw in the original trilogy, but as a Force Ghost. But it would have been nice to see Luke in physical form, at least for the first half hour of Episode 9, before, hey, I'm gonna kill Luke off and make him Force Ghost later. I mean, it took like an entire movie just for Qui-Gon Jinn to die. He's a Jedi. And then the first time we heard about a Jedi living after having pretty much living in the Force was in Revenge of the Sith, when Yoda was telling Obi-Wan that Qui-Gon will help him finish his training. Now, granted that we saw like a few hints of that, but in the Clone Wars, but technically the Clone Wars didn't come out until after Revenge of the Sith. And I'm talking about the Dave Filoni series. But in the timeline, the Clone Wars was before Revenge of the Sith. But I'm just talking about movie releases. But yeah, we had Qui-Gon die. And then we pretty much had him come back in the Clone Wars series, like in 3 episodes. No, I want to say 4 episodes. And 2 of those episodes was just us hearing his voice. And then we saw Obi-Wan die in A New Hope. And we heard his voice like right after he died telling Luke to run. And then we saw Obi-Wan again in Empire Strikes Back. And then we saw Obi-Wan again in Return of the Jedi. And then again at the end of the movie too, because we saw Obi-Wan twice in the Return of the Jedi as Force Ghost. But the second time we saw Obi-Wan as Force Ghost we saw Yoda sitting next in between him and Anakin. And as much people criticize George Lucas for bringing Hayden Christensen back as Anakin Skywalker for the Force Ghost Anakin in Return of the Jedi, I actually didn't mind seeing Hayden Christensen back in the in Return of the Jedi. Oh, now I remember the reason why. Oh, this from what I've heard, why Ryan Johnson didn't bring in uh Anakin Skywalker into the Last Jedi. It's because he felt like Luke wouldn't recognize his own father at this age. I mean, what the hell? That's all I could have said when I heard that. What the hell? He saw his father in the end of Return of the Jedi. And regardless, as we might be upset with George Lucas for making some changes to the original trilogy, and when I mean upset, I mean like some of those changes some fans are upset about, like when Darth Vader said no right before he uh threw the Emperor off the elevator shaft or whatever. That's canon. I don't care if Lucasfilms was bought out by Disney since then. The special editions are, whether all of them were good or bad, they're canon. So Hayden Christensen as a Force Ghost in Return of the Jedi is canon. And if that's the only reason why Anakin wasn't in The Last Jedi, because Luke wouldn't recognize his own father in the Last Jedi, even though he saw his Force Ghost in the ending of Return of the Jedi, and it's been like what 30 years since, or 30-something years, 40-something years in between The Last Jedi and Return of the Clones. And Return of the Jedi, where Luke probably saw some hollow fits of his father fighting in the Clone Wars with their former master Obi-Wan Kenobi, but Obi-Wan or Luke wouldn't recognize Anakin. That's honestly like saying Luke wouldn't recognize Leia. Because we didn't see Luke and Leia interact at all in The Force Awakens. We only seen Luke in one scene, the very end, for like 15 seconds. And we only got one scene in The Last Jedi where Luke and Leia responded. Interacted. So saying that Luke wouldn't recognize his father is kind of like saying Luke wouldn't recognize his own sister, which is stupid. Now it would have been more accurate if he said, assuming that he did say it, it would have been more accurate if he said he wouldn't recognize his own mother. Because as far as I know, Anakin never seen Padme at all. He didn't see any outfits of her, didn't see any pictures. I'm trying to remember which character from the original trilogy. The prequels that was around in the original trilogy. Outside of Obi-Wan, Yoda, and the C-3PO and R2-D2. There's Chewbacca, but he didn't really meet Padme. Yeah, he didn't really meet Padme. Hold on, I'm trying to think here now. I don't... That was Bail Organa, but he would have told Leia, not Luke, because Bell never knew Luke, really. He might have met Luke when he was a baby, but he never really knew Luke. Unless if Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru told Luke about about Padme. But one thing's for sure, it was they definitely kept it a secret, like what happened to Anakin from Luke. I guess so Luke won't, like Luke's image of his father won't fade. But it would make sense if Uncle Owen and Beru told Luke about Padme. Maybe not all of what happened to her, like, yeah, your father killed your own mother. Because I have no doubt Obi-Wan told Emperor and Uncle Owen that. Um, I'm trying to think here. Yeah, I don't think any other. Well, there's one Mantha. But does you really know that Anakin and Padme, like, had children? I'm pretty sure that. Because I've heard George Lucas said that at the end of Revenge of the Sith, the reason why he made Padme appear to be still pregnant, so he can still fool the galaxy, that Luke and Leia died along with Padme. And that's mainly so he could fool uh, Darth Sidious and Darth Vader. But did Belle tell her? I don't know. I know Captain Antonian wasn't around, really, because Darth Vader killed him within, like, the first 10 minutes of A New Hope. And, so no, the only people that would possibly tell and show pictures of Padme to Luke would have been Emperor and Uncle Owen, unless Bail Organa and his wife sold Leia, and she's infestly sold Luke. So my point being, it would have been more accurate to say Luke wouldn't recognize his own mother than his own father, because that's stupid. Especially since Luke definitely seen his father, his Force Ghost, at the end of the Return of the Jedi. And in a alternate universe where I never knew my father, my father had died when I was very young. In an alternate universe. But I still met him and seen him. I would remember what my father looks like. Shoot. I had a grandmother that I met when I was younger. She died when I was young. But I still remember what she looks like. So saying, oh, Luke, we didn't have Anakin in The Last Jedi because Luke wouldn't recognize Anakin. That's bullcrap. That's honestly bullcrap. Anyways. And Snoke. Let's talk about Snoke for a second. Wouldn't it be cool if, guess we're getting this Resistance show, right? Wouldn't this be cool to have Snoke being either Vader's or Sidious's secret apprentice? It'd be cool. That would definitely kind of like fill in some of the plot holes that that was made in both The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi. Like, in terms of, okay, who is Snoke? What did Snoke do in the past? I guess that's why Dave Filoni is planning to do make a Star Wars show that's going to take place between Return of the Jedi and The Force Awakens. But we honestly would do, I don't know. That's just my, I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you guys think it would be cool to have Snoke being Darth Vader's secret apprentice or Darth Sidious's secret apprentice? Like, or was Snoke even a secret apprentice? Did Darth Sidious, with the help of Darth Vader, train Snoke in the ways of the dark side? So just in case they died, that way they have some, like, a contingency plan for somebody to take the place as, like, the new Emperor, or the Supreme Leader in this case, even though in Battlefront 2, for the PlayStation 4, Darth Sidious already had a contingency plan. And yes, even though I don't have a PlayStation 4, I have seen the cutscenes of Battlefront 2 of the story mode on the PlayStation 4. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with this. But so yeah, I brought in the point of how I felt about Luke Skywalker's death. I brought in the fact that, oh yeah, I almost forgot when I was bringing up my point about lack of listening to fans. The MCU stands for Marvel Cinematic Universe, who so far estimate the Avengers, all the Avengers movies, plus all those side movies that led up to each Avenger movie. They listen to fans. That's it do. Because there might be one thing that fans might be complaining about in like one movie. Let's say some fans might be complaining that actually I don't know. I don't have a specific example at the moment for the MCU, but my point is the MCU, they listen to fans. Whenever fans complain about a certain thing in a Marvel movie, they try to improve upon it and not make that mistake again. And the MCU, I feel like that's why the MCU is more popular than Lucasfilms, because Kevin Feige is the guy who played no, the guy who is, I guess, the president of the MCU, actually cares enough to listen to fans. And I believe there has been a few characters that fans wanted to see for years, like with Black Panther, that Kevin Feige finally said, yeah, let's make a Black Panther movie. And guess what? Black Panther was awesome. And I'm pretty sure there's been some like errors in the movie, but so far I haven't seen them yet. But that's probably because I'm still in that fan hype stage. With Black Panther surprisingly still in theaters, like 3 months later, Black Panther is still in theaters, which kind of surprises me. And even though it's on DVD and Blu-ray and digital, but still, it's still out in theaters, which is saying something. And that should be a message to you, Kathleen Kennedy. You should take notes from what Kevin Feige is doing for the MCU and apply that to Star Wars in terms of actually listening to fans. And who knows? Maybe by listening to fans, maybe one of those movies, maybe episode 9, could be your big, huge comeback for Star Wars, as long as you don't fuck the next movie up. Like, possibly having an Obi-Wan Kenobi movie as well. So, the trust that was broken for some of us fans can come back so we can start trusting your decisions. Who knows? But seriously, Kathleen Kennedy, study what Kevin Feige is doing for the MCU and try to apply some of that to Lucasfilms. Because he actually does one of the things I feel like Kevin Feige does, which is smart, which is good business. Which doesn't only bring in the old fans, but brings in new fans too. It's listening to the freaking fans, which you could do better in, per se, Kathleen Kennedy. I'm not trying to make a jab towards you. It says it's a business, and listening to your fans, are your clients, per se, your customers. will make your business bigger, better, and Kevin Feige sees this, which is why the MCU is as big as it is today. And you pretty much doing the opposite, really. It's why Lucasfilm or Star Wars isn't as big or aren't getting as good reviews or whatever as it could be. Plus, the MCU has more consistency and have directors actually listen to each other per se and stuff like that. That's why I feel more than you let them do on the more than what you allowed Ryan Johnson and J.J. Abrams to do per se. I'm kind of I hope I'm not saying it too confusingly. My point is, Kathleen Kennedy, if you want to have people stop complaining of what you're doing and what you're saying, doing first, stop saying, oh, each Star Wars movie that we've made since Lucas, like Force Awakens, Rogue One, Last Jedi, or any other Star Wars movie that we will make, is a perfect movie because that will only lose business for you. And you do not want to lose business, Kathleen Kennedy. So stop trying to say that every Star Wars movie that is being made is a perfect Star Wars movie. Stop saying that stop like calling us fans names for saying whenever we don't like a Star Wars movie and saying us fans are sexist. And yes, I'm also implying you, Ryan Johnson, J.J. Abrams. But in saying that us fans are sexist or intimidated by girl power by not liking the Last Jedi, it's not helping your ratings for Star Wars score high. It's actually bringing your ratings low, per se. And listen to fans, have more and better communication, and just pretty much look and study what Kevin Feige has done for the MCU and apply it to Star Wars. And my last bit before I move on is listen to fans more. That's it. That's it. So get Death of Luke Skywalker, lack of listening. Keep politics out of Star Wars, which I already said. Boycotting Solo. Maybe Snoke was Vader's secret apprentice, or the Emperor's, and Anakin Skywalker as a Force Ghost in Episode 9. So I touched on all the points that I wanted to make. If you guys agree with me or disagree with me on anything, please let's have a discussion. Leave a comment down below, and I would love to see your guys' response. And if you guys disagree with me about certain parts or all the points I made, or agree with me or whatever, I won't judge you for what you guys think. I won't judge you guys for those statements that you might make. Or I'm trying for say in the best way possible. I'll welcome any of your guys' thoughts. So please leave a comment in the section below, because I'm honestly curious what you guys think about this whole Kathleen Kennedy, J.J. Abrams, Ryan Johnson, Lucasfilm, Star Wars situation. So yeah, leave a comment below. And may the Force be with us all. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.